Heat gathered over Lagos like smoke from a million frying pans. Amara Nwosu squeezed onto bus 47 with baby Kosi tied to her chest, the conductor shouting, "One chance. Move a beg." There was no room. There was only a hard strip of bench and a stranger's shoulder in a navy suit. She whispered, "Sorry," but her eyelids were already losing the fight. Kosi's tiny hand clutched her blouse, his breathing soft and warm. The bus lurched, the city honked, and sleep dragged her under. She had meant to fall asleep on a stranger, certainly not a man who smelled of clean cologne and money. She hadn't slept properly in 3 nights, not since the landlord gave his ultimatum. 2 weeks or out. She had still gone for that interview, 9 minutes of polite rejection and fluorescent disappointment. "We'll get back to you," the receptionist had chirped. Lies are bright like that. The suit's shoulder never twitched. A steady hand kept Kosi from slipping. A second hand, cautious, supported Amara's elbow when the bus hit a crater. She didn't see the way the man's jaw unclenched or how he closed his eyes like someone finally allowed to breathe. The bus screeched to another brutal stop and Amara jerked awake. Heart racing, she checked Kosi. He whimpered, then settled. The seat beside her was empty. Panic flared. Had the man taken something? Her fingers dived into her bag. Nothing missing, except Kosi's fist held a gold cufflink engraved, CO. And between feeding bottles, a black card hid like treasure. Black, matte, weighty. Embossed silver letters read, 30th floor, Okonkwo Innovations Tower. 9 a.m. CO. On the back. For the one who let me breathe. "See as she day steal," the conductor muttered. "Return wetten no be your own." Oh, Amara flushed. He left it, I swear. But the bus was emptying, and she was hustled out with the crowd. Sidewalk heat slapped her. Hawkers hollered. Her brain repeated those initials, CO, until they became a drumbeat. Chaika Konkwo.
CL.
Tech God. Impossible. A CEO on a Danfo? A beg rest, she muttered, yet the card lay heavy in her palm like proof of madness. She looked at Kosi. His serious baby eyes blinked back. "What do you think, warrior?" He squealed, beating the cufflink against her chin. "That's a yes," she decided, forcing a laugh. "Tomorrow, 9 a.m. We go." She tucked the card into a hidden seam and adjusted Kosi. Somewhere in Victoria Island, a man was rubbing his bare wrist, feeling the absence of gold and the fullness of air. Somewhere in Mushin, an orphan girl with a baby drew a shaky breath and aimed herself toward glass and steel. Lagos, chaotic matchmaker, had nudged 2 lives together on a boiling bus. Destiny, however, had scribbled the appointment in ink. That night, sleep refused to come. Amara lay on a thin mattress in Mama and Kem's back room, listening to generators cough to life and die again. She traced the raised letters on the card by candlelight, whispering them like a spell. 30th floor. She pictured polished shoes sliding on polished tiles, people who had never balanced a tray of Accra while cramming for WAC. Fear hissed, "They will laugh." Hope whispered louder, "What if they don't?" When Kosi finally drifted off, she packed a spare diaper, wrapped the cufflink in cloth, braided her courage tight, and promised tomorrow's dawn she would walk into the tower, no matter who tried to block the gate. She prayed, then slept. By dawn, a blurry Danfo video pulsed across timelines. A poor girl, a baby, a sleeping man in a suit. Caption shouted, "Real-life Nollywood." Amara didn't see it. Data cost more than breakfast, but she felt the stairs thicken as she power-walked toward Victoria Island, Kosi bobbing against her chest. The Okonkwo Innovations Tower rose ahead, glass catching the sun like armor. "Good morning, sir. I have an appointment on the 30th floor," she announced, flashing the black card at the security desk. The guard barked a laugh. "Appointment ka? Who give you?" "A man on bus 47. 9 a.m. Please." "A whole CEO day enter bus?" he scoffed. "Madam, a beg comet." A woman in a white suit clicked over, heels snapping. Her lipstick was a blood-red slash. Her smile could cut. "Is there an issue?" She say she get appointment, the guard sneered. The woman accepted the card, turned it over, eyes sharpening. Impressive fake. Security, see her out. Let her up, a baritone cut through marble and murmurs. Heads pivoted. Chaik Okonkwo, charcoal suit, measured gaze, one cufflink missing, stood by the private elevator. The woman's posture stiffened. Sir, I was merely protecting. Assuming, he corrected. She's with me, Tonia. Tonia. The name tasted like metal. She handed the card back, smile frozen. As you wish, sir. Inside the mirrored elevator, Amara's reflection looked shabby and small beside him. Words tumbled out. I didn't steal the cufflink. Hikosi grabbed it. I know, Chaik said, watching numbers climb. He has a strong grip. You left me a note. She swallowed. Why? Because 10 minutes of silence on a Lagos bus felt like gold. A pause. You loaned it to me. The door side open. The 30th floor throbbed with hums and clicks. People in headphones, people in suits. Whispers flowed like AC. Chaik guided her into a small lounge with velvet chairs and a view of sky. Feed him. I'll be 15 minutes. Don't talk to journalists. They're everywhere. He halted at the door. Your name? Amara. This is Kosi. He nodded, repeating the syllables like they mattered. Amara. Then he vanished into glass-walled strategy. Her old Nokia buzzed. A text from Mom and Kem shouted in all caps. Amara? Instablog don't post you. Come back quick. Her stomach dipped. Fame was a flood. Poor people drowned faster. The door creaked. Tonia slid inside, perfume first. Listen, sweetheart, she drawled. He does this. Saves strays. Gives speeches about empathy. Then he forgets. Sell the cufflink, buy pepper, vanish. Amara folded her arms. I didn't ask to be here. Good. Then leaving should be easy. Tonia smirked. This building eats clever girls for breakfast and spits out insecure ones for lunch. Amara shot back before fear could muzzle her. Tonia's eyes flashed, but the door opened again. Tonia, Chaik said evenly. We're waiting. Her smile returned, fake and flawless. Coming, sir. She glided out. Chaik handed Amara a folder. Read this. Circle anything that sounds nice but won't survive in Mushin. Outline by tomorrow. Tomorrow, she squeaked. I'm not staff. You are until you say no, he replied, already half gone. Alone again, Amara opened the folder. Community Tech Hub, draft. Buzzwords everywhere. She exhaled, sharpened a pencil, and began translating rich speak into real life. Kosi chewed a corner of paper approvingly. When Chaik returned, tie loosened, he scanned her scribbles. You wrote all this in an hour? I've had harder homework, she muttered. A junior staffer burst in, phone shaking. Sir, Trend is mad. They're calling her your side chick. Heat surged into Amara's cheeks. Chaik's gaze hardened to steel. Then we answer with work, he said. Let's move. He pointed toward the corridor. Come. You need to see the engine room before you design a doorway. The elevator dinged again. Amara hugged Kosi, squared her shoulders, and stepped forward. The internet could guess whatever it wanted. She had a black card, a feverish dream, and a deadline. Lagos loved noise. She would give it results. She inhaled, smiled, and walked forward bravely today. The service elevator groaned like an old secret. Chaik slid a key, the panel blinked green, and the doors closed on the glossy world upstairs. Amara clutched Kosi and the folder, heart pounding a rhythm the elevator tried to match. You ever been in a lift alone with a CEO? She asked, half joking, half terrified. Chaik's mouth twitched. You ever ridden a Danfo with one? Touché, she said, surprising herself. The elevator sank. Cold air met them, humming servers lined up like obedient soldiers. The basement smelled of metal and focus. A single coffee machine sputtered in the corner. Engineers darted between blinking lights, eyes red, brains blazing. This is where the internet breathes, Chaik said, guiding her around patch panels and labeled cables. If you want to build a doorway for people, you need to know what's behind the walls. Amara balanced Kosi on her hip, scribbling notes. Your draft has nice words. Inclusion, empowerment, grassroots. But it reads like a politician wrote it. Then translate it. I am. She lifted her pad. Start small. Use trusted faces. Pay stipends. Don't assume people have power banks. Solar kiosks. Schedule around market days. And please, no glossy posters with rich kids. A nearby engineer overheard and snorted. She's right, sir. My cousin still thinks we sell data in buckets. Chaik raised a brow. Adiz, log her in. Give her guest access. Adiz blinked. Sir, protocols. Adjusted, he said. Amara swallowed. Guest access felt dangerously official. Adiz typed. A temporary badge printed. Don't lose it, she warned. IT guys cry when badges vanish. Amara clipped it on, grinning. First badge I ever owned. She poured coffee, spilled again, cursed softly, dabbed napkins. Chaik chuckled. Relax. Last week, I dropped a whole cappuccino on a motherboard. You? She pictured headlines. CEO fries company with latte. What happened? We bought a new board. He shrugged. Money fixes hardware. People are harder. Kosi slapped the coffee cup. Amara squeaked. Chaik took the cup away. Dangerous, he told the baby. Kosi gurgled, utterly unbothered by capitalism or caffeine. Back upstairs, the lobby buzzed. A junior staffer rushed over. Sir, trend is radioactive. Hashtag busgirlgate. Influencers are milking it. Chaik's jaw tightened. Ignore them. It's affecting sentiment. Work is the antidote, he said flatly. Send PR the truth. She's a consultant, not a scandal. The staffer scurried off. Amara exhaled. Side chick? Consultant? Tomorrow, maybe witch. Today or Amara, Chaik replied. Hold that. They stopped outside a glass-walled meeting room. Tonia stood inside, directing a team like a choreographer of chaos. Her eyes lifted, slicing through Amara. Chaik pushed open a different door. An empty office with a dusty whiteboard and a dying plant. Yours for now, he said. For me? Until you outgrow it. She laughed, a quick burst. I haven't even grown into it. He leaned on the doorframe. You asked earlier why I left a note. Truth? I wanted to see if you'd show up. Most people take and vanish. I can't vanish, she said simply. I have rent. And a baby, he added. What's his full name? Chikwakosi. God consoles. Chaik's gaze softened. Appropriate. Silence stretched. Comfortable this time. He extended a hand. So, Ms. Nwosu, will you build a door with me? She shifted Kosi, shook. His palm was cool, hers sweaty. Sparks didn't fly, responsibility did. I'll try, she said. Good. Bring me an outline tomorrow. If it's solid, we pitch. To who? He grimaced. The board, including my mother. Your mother? The chairwoman? The very one, he sighed. And she likes me? She doesn't like me most days. He smirked. Don't take it personal. Amara inhaled, tasting metal, coffee, possibility. Then we give her something she can't refuse. That's the spirit, he murmured. Now work. I have a company to pretend I control. He left. Amara set Kosi in a drawer padded with her wrapper, scribbled headlines on the whiteboard, then wrote in bold. No glossy lies. She underlined it twice. In the hallway, murmurs rose. Online, strangers argued. In the basement, servers thrummed. Above it all, a single elevator waited, ready to lift or drop, depending on who pressed the button. She exhaled, uncapped her pen, and began truly. Sun speared through glass, turning the 30th floor into a gold aquarium. Amara arrived before most, second-hand laptop in her tote, Kosi wriggling. Fever gone but clingy. Mom and Kem had squeezed her cheeks at dawn. Go and scatter their heads with sense, Anani. Courage tucked beside diapers. She pushed through the revolving door. Stairs followed, softer now, flavored with curiosity. Nah, she, a cleaner whispered. The receptionist leaned over. Amara, right? A beg, no vex. I recorded small yesterday. Amara shrugged. Water under bridge, she lied. The break room smelled like burnt toast and ambition. Amara set Kosi on a folded wrapper, opened her laptop, and disaster struck. A rushing analyst clipped her elbow, her coffee arced, splattering a stack of board contracts. Oh God, she gasped, grabbing tissues. Those are for the board, the analyst squeaked, eyes bulbous. Tonia's heels shot warning shots. She swept in, expression already sharpened. What now? I spilled. Of course. Spillages follow you. Tonia crouched, assessing the damage. We reprint, rebind, rebudget time. Hold on, Amara said, flipping through the damp pages. Your pagination's off. Clause 9 from the appendix is missing. If a lawyer notices, they'll chew us. Tonia blinked. The analyst blinked twice. You know legalese? Tonia asked. I know trouble, Amara answered, correcting margins, reattaching staples. Make margins 1.5. Cleaner. The analyst scampered to reprint. Tonia watched Amara like a math problem she couldn't solve. You're inconveniently competent. I could spill again if it comforts you, Amara returned. Chaik stepped in mid-retort, gaze sweeping. He clocked the damp pages, the new stack. Handled? Yes, Tonia chirped. By Amara, the analyst blurted. Chaik's eyes warmed a degree. Good. Meeting in 3 minutes. Amara, 5-minute slot to pitch the hub. Tonia straightened. Sir, with respect. Rare, he muttered. She's earned it. The boardroom was a cathedral of glass. Legos sprawled beyond like a restless congregation. Madame Iphioma sat like an empress at the head, Ankara silk, carved cane, unreadable eyes. Amara's knees quivered, but she set Kosi's carrier beside her chair, felt his tiny snores anchor her. Chaik opened briskly. Before quarterly numbers, a pilot proposal. Ms. Amara Nwosu. Amara rose. Her slides were bare, photos, handwritten maps, bullet points. Good morning. I'm here because your draft calls people like me target demographic. I call us neighbors. A chuckle, a cough. She continued, voice strengthening. A tech hub must smell like pepper soup, not new paint. Hold classes in places people already trust. Mama put joints, churches, market sheds. Pay the women who run them. Give data vouchers, not speeches. Train 2 locals to fix things when your engineers are stuck in traffic. One director scoffed. Charity. Pipeline, Amara countered. Today's shoeless child is tomorrow's engineer if you let her touch a tablet before she touches despair. Charity ends at applause. Investment pays you back. Iphioma tapped her cane. Your slides are plain. My life is plain, Amara answered, pulse hammering. But it works. Silence stretched. Then Iphioma nodded once. Approve 10 million for a pilot. If it fails, we lose lunch money. If it wins, we claim brilliance. Murmurs. Chaik studied his mother, suspicious of sudden generosity. Tonia typed furiously, eyes like lit fuses. The meeting rolled on numbers, forecasts, acquisitions. Amara sat, brain buzzing, baby snoring, coffee stain drying on her blouse. When it ended, the analyst squeezed her arm. You saved my job. Save your coffee next time, she whispered back. In the hallway, Chaik stopped her. You are good. I spilled coffee on your contracts. You fixed the contract, he said. Spills happen. Solutions matter. Iphioma's reflection appeared in the elevator's mirrored doors. She spoke softly, almost kindly. Clever girls get eaten here. Amara hugged Kosi tighter. I have teeth. Iphioma's smile was thin, then sharpened them. The doors slid shut. Amara stared at her own reflection, tired, determined, stained, but taller somehow. She'd stained their paper, poked their pride, earned a pilot. Lagos rewarded audacity. Now it had to reward delivery. The elevator hummed. She breathed. The war drum of work began. She grinned. squared up, and walked out ready. By noon, the tower's AC battled the stubborn heat like two egos in a meeting. Amara felt sweat bead as Kosi's forehead warmed beneath her palm. His breaths came faster. Panic crackled. She checked the syrup bottle. 2 stubborn drops. No, not today, she whispered, rocking him in the cramped break room. Tonia burst in mid-call, voice sugar and knives. Benga, I said I'm handling it. She paused, eyes on Kosi. Why is there a baby in here? He's sick. Amara snapped, exhaustion uncloaking her tongue. This is an office, not a daycare. Tonia replied. Take him to a clinic. With which money? And I can't leave. I have to finish the community map. Not my problem. It will be if your PR nightmare includes me fainting on your polished floor, Amara shot back. The door swung again. Chaik entered, scanning. What's wrong? Kosi's fever spiking, Amara blurted. Chaik didn't hesitate. He touched Kosi's head, grimaced. He's burning. Ade will drive you to Lagoon Hospital. My account. I can't. This isn't charity. It's sanity. Go. Sir, HR policy. Tonia began. HR works for me, Chaik said coolly. Compassion is cheaper than lawsuits. Tonia rolled her eyes, but said nothing. Ade appeared, jingling keys. Let's move, madam. Traffic parted under the wail of a borrowed siren. At the hospital, nurses snapped into motion. Likely viral fever. We'll monitor, the doctor said. Amara hovered by the crib, shaking. Chaik touched her elbow. He will be fine. You can't know that, she whispered. I know doctors who pride themselves on being right, he answered. And stubborn babies. Tonia arrived, surprisingly, carrying bottled water. She leaned on the wall. Mask cracked. He wasn't always like this, she murmured. Like what? Amara asked. Soft, Tonia said. He buried it when his father died. The board applauded. I tried to dig it out. It cut me. Amara studied her. Maybe softness isn't weakness. Tell shareholders that, Tonia muttered, but her voice lacked venom. A doctor emerged. Temperatures dropping. You can discharge in a few hours. Relief flooded Amara so hard her knees wobbled. Chaik smiled, small real. Told you. Stubborn. She pressed a kiss to Kosi's fingers. You scared mummy, mischievous boy. Chaik handed her a plain white card. My number. Emergencies only. I won't abuse it, she said. Abuse HR instead, Tonia added dryly. They laughed, a brief alliance. Evening painted Lagos orange. Ade drove them back. Outside the tower, reporters surged. Mr. Okonkwo. Who is she? Are you? Cameras flashed. Chaik raised a hand. She's a consultant. Her child was ill. Focus on the community hub. That's the story. A mic jabbed at Amara. How does it feel to be rescued by a billionaire? He didn't rescue me, she said steadily. He did what any human should when a child is sick. Is Bus 47 a love story? It's a Lagos story. Lagos doesn't do neat genres. Inside, the marble calm returned. Chaik turned to leave, paused. Thank you for trusting me with him. Amara blinked. You thanked me first. We'll keep taking turns, he said. She rode the elevator down. Kosi warm but cool enough. Card tucked safe. Something fundamental had shifted. A crack in the wall between her world and his. Through it, possibility leaked along with danger. High above, Madame Ifeoma tapped her cane, planning. Across town, Benga replayed the hospital clip, plotting. On the break room tile, a brown coffee scar dried, a small reminder that human mess had entered the machine. She smiled, finally, and let herself breathe deeply. Amara froze outside the gleaming conference room, folder clutched tight in one hand, Kosi nestled in the other. Through the glass walls, she heard Madame Ifeoma's voice, sharp as splintered wood, berating Chaik. You'll bankrupt us with sentiment. A charitable hub in a slum? Where's the ROI? Chaik squared his shoulders, fingers flexing on the table. Mother, it's an investment in the future. We can't ignore 2 million potential users. Ignore poverty. Ifeoma snapped. Poverty is not our demographic. Investors want high margins, not social work. Amara's heart pounded. Every instinct screamed to bolt. Yet she nudged the door, clearing her throat. Both heads turned. A hush fell. Ifeoma's eyebrows rose, surprise flickering in her eyes. I'm the consultant, Amara said, stepping forward. Her voice quivered, but she held her chin high. The pilot hub will be self-sustaining. Micro fees, ad revenue, sponsorship, this isn't charity, it's a new market. Chaik grinned at her. Ifeoma's lip curled. This girl interrupts me now. Yes, Amara replied, glancing at Chaik. Because someone needs to remind you how markets are made. Silence swelled.
Chaik stood.
Mother, unless you have evidence the plan fails, we proceed. Ifeoma's gaze was a blade. She leaned forward. You have 7 days. If I see no traction, the pilot is dead, and so is your hub. Amara's stomach twisted, but she met Ifeoma's eyes steadily. Understood. Ifeoma dismissed her with a flick. The door slid closed. Chaik exhaled. Sorry. Amara rocked Kosi. I'd rather have 7 days and a challenge than 7 minutes in safety. Chaik studied her with something like pride. Let's mobilize tonight. Meet in the war room, tomorrow morning, strategy. At home, in the cramped back room, Amara drafted emails to Mama and Kem's network, Mama Ifeoma's church, and street vendors. The night hummed with possibility and dread. The war room on the 29th floor looked like the bridge of a starship, screens, cables, and half-empty coffee mugs. A small team assembled, the analyst who'd spilled coffee, Adiz the IT whiz, and 2 new faces, a market consultant and a community organizer. Amara took a deep breath. We have 7 days to prove viability. Day 1, community buy-in. I'll host a town hall at Mama and Kem's stall. A murmur ran through the room. The consultant, Namdi, raised a hand. We need data. A survey. Demographics. No. Amara shook her head. We need stories.
Trust.
I'll go to the market, listen, not lecture.
Chaik nodded.
I trust you. But I'm logging your progress with daily reports. He tapped his tablet. Metrics, sign-ups, feedback, revenue projections. Adiz adjusted her glasses. We can stand up a simple portal in 3 hours, SMS-based. No app needed. Amara's eyes brightened. Perfect. We text code, hub, to the number and we know who's interested. They worked till dawn, whiteboard scrawled with ideas. Incentives, airtime, shampoo samples mini lottery, local champions, Mom and Kem, Obina the tailor, mobile solar chargers. Exhausted but fueled by adrenaline, they called it a night. A week into the pilot, early metrics glowed green. 200 sign-ups in a slum where the nearest internet cafe cost 500 Nigerian nairas an hour. Chaik allowed himself a small smile until an ominous alert pinged. A leaked dossier from Benga Coal's PR machine painted Chaik as preying on the poor for data mining. Tweets swarmed. #DataSlumGate. The board's inbox flooded with concerned messages. Back in the war room, Tonia slammed her tablet. Coal's people are ruthless. He'll crush this before it breathes. If we stop now, Amara said, voice firm, we lose everything. Chaik exhaled. Then we fight back. He drafted a public letter. Our pilot is community-driven. Our data is aggregated and anonymized. We're partners, not predators. He clicked send. Amara tapped her foot. I'm going live in 2 minutes, straight from the market. She linked a shaky video. Her face under a street lamp, Mama and Kem selling Akara beside her. This is real life. These are people, not test subjects. Comments exploded, love, skepticism, hope. Within hours, the narrative shifted. #HubForGood trended alongside #DataSlumGate. Amara returned to the slum late at night, dread coiling in her chest. The market lay silent, stalls shuttered. She found Mama and Kem's stall smoldering, charred wood dripping oil. Her scream cut through the darkness. Neighbors gathered, eyes filled with anger and fear. Police sirens wailed in the distance. At the station, Inspector Daimeji questioned her. Arson. Payback for the tech hub. Amara's voice shook. They think we're spies. He studied her. I'll need your full statement and the server logs from the hub for timestamp verification. Back in the war room, Amara laid out photos of the fire. Chaik pressed his lips. We document everything. Security feeds. Local testimonies. Tonia softened unexpectedly. I'll pull legal on the arson. Executives can't be arsonists. Amara dared a smile. Thank you. Media vans swarmed the slum by dawn. Cameras rolled as Amara, bandaged but determined, spoke. We won't be intimidated. We build together. We rise together. Ifeoma watched on a giant screen in her office, expression unreadable. Chaik stood beside her, silent. She tapped her cane. Mother of a slum? We'll see. The board convened an emergency session. Investors debated pulling out. Chaik stood, voice resonant. This pilot is proof of concept. I believe in it. Therefore, we continue. Ifeoma nodded, an order, not a concession. Later, at Mama and Kem's newly rebuilt stall, Amara handed Kosi to the vendor while she worked. A little boy tugged her skirt. You're the bus lady? She smiled, ruffling his hair. And soon, I'll be your teacher. As night fell, Amara walked home under golden street lamps, heart thrumming with resolve. The pilot survived its first storm. She'd learned that change demanded courage, fire, and sometimes smoke to light the way. Late one night, the tower's corridors were silent except for Amara's careful footsteps. Under the guise of reviewing audit files, she slipped into the archives, rows upon rows of binders stamped with project codes and years. The air smelled of dust and ink. Clutching a flashlight and her security badge, she searched until she pulled a slim, unmarked ledger from the bottom shelf. Heart thundering, she snapped it open. Page after page revealed line items. Orphanage grants 2002 to 2005 followed by redacted sums. Then a note in Ifeoma's script. Reallocate to expansion fund. A raw knot of anger and betrayal twisted in Amara's chest. She pressed her palm to the page as if to steady the weight of stolen hope. Whispering to herself, she muttered, They robbed me of parents, then tried to bury it. A door hissed. A night guard's flashlight beam swept the hallway. Amara stashed the ledger under her jacket and melted into the shadows. Every step back to her office felt like crossing a minefield. One wrong move, and the ledger would be gone, and she'd be dismissed as a thief. But she made it, sliding the precious proof onto Chaik's desk by morning, ready to ignite justice with ink and courage. Benga Cole's invitation arrived on a silver platter, an after-hours dinner in an exclusive rooftop lounge. The city lights danced below as Amara entered in a borrowed dress. Cole's smile was too smooth, his eyes too sharp. Miss Nwosu, he purred, pouring wine. Impressive work on the pilot. Shame Ifeoma's old guard doesn't see the future. Amara sipped carefully. I'm not here for pleasantries. He leaned in. I have resources and a plan to obliterate Okonkwo innovations. You side with me. I'll fund your hub unconditionally. How much? She asked, voice steady despite her racing heart. Enough. 10 times what Okonkwo would spend. But I want creative control. She set down her glass. This hub isn't a pawn in your power play. He laughed, low and dangerous. Idealism is expensive. Think of your community. Amara drew a breath, remembrance of Kosi's laugh, Mama and Kem's faith. I want my community, not your conquests. Cole's smile faltered. You'll regret this. He tapped his phone. Instructions went out. By morning, every data center in the slum would be seized. But Amara's refusal had already rallied unexpected support. Chaik's team, local volunteers, and a newsroom hungry for corruption. The real battle lines had been drawn. A month of exhaustion caught up with Amara when Kosi fell ill again, this time crying nonstop.
Panicked, she called Chaik.
In the hushed ward, she broke down. I leaked the ledger without backup. Cole is seizing servers as we speak. The pilot evaporates, and it's my fault. Chaik took her trembling hands. Stop. His voice was gentle. You did exactly what was needed, but Ifeoma's investors will pull out. The board will dissolve us. He reached into his coat, producing a sealed company file. Open this when you can breathe. Hours later, after Kosi slept, Amara spread the documents on her bed. Photos of her parents' faces grayed at the edges, letters praising their community work, and a final memo. Project Guardian Angel, their last initiative, shut down by board directive. Tears blurred her vision. Her story was entwined with Chaik's legacy. In that moment, she realized her fight was his fight. Under fluorescent lights in Chaik's private office, the two of them pieced together the conspiracy. Chaik's jaw clenched as he traced each signature. Mother approved this, he whispered. Amara leaned back. This is our leverage. Armed with damning evidence, they arranged a clandestine meeting with two sympathetic board members. In the hushed corridor, Amara handed over the ledger and the sealed file. We expose this at the next shareholders' meeting, or we die trying. Late that night, Chaik confronted Ifeoma. The grand hall echoed with her outrage. You betrayed your own family, he thundered. She stood imperious, eyes flint hard. I did what was necessary to protect the company. No, Chaik said slowly. You protected your bottom line by sacrificing people. For the first time, Ifeoma looked uncertain. The lines between ambition and cruelty had blurred, and her son had drawn them clearly. Dawn heated the glass fortress as investors took their seats, the tension palpable. Amara and Chaik entered, documents in hand. The chairman banged the gavel. We have a special resolution. Amara stepped forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we present evidence of financial misconduct, ledgers proving misallocation of orphanage funds and board directives by Madam Ifeoma Okonkwo. Murmurs rippled. Ifeoma rose, face ashen. This is slander. Tonia, at her side, paled. The flashed cameras captured every flicker. Chaik's voice rang out. These are facts, Mother. We'll hand them over to the authorities unless you relinquish your role as chairwoman. Silence swallowed the room. Analysts exchanged glances. Whispers became directionless winds. Ifeoma sank back into her chair. Tonia's chair remained empty. She'd slipped out, her ambition in tatters. The gavel fell again, this time gentle. The vote passes. Madam Ifeoma is removed. Ms. Nwosu is appointed Interim Director of Social Innovation. Applause sounded uneasy at first, then solidified. Amara felt Kosi stir in her arms, tiny hands reaching for hope. Outside, the city buzzed. Inside, a legacy was rewritten by an orphan and her child who fell asleep on a bus, only to awaken the world. The aftermath of the boardroom vote was still settling when heavy footsteps thundered down the hallway. Inspector Daimeji burst in with two uniformed officers, arrest warrants in hand. Madam Ifeoma Okonkwo, he intoned, you are charged with misappropriation of funds. Gasps rattled the glass walls. Ifeoma, regal even in shock, folded her hands. I did what I thought was best. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists and cameras flashed. Tonia, pale behind the crowd, slipped away through a side door, phone pressed to her ear. Reporters chased Daimeji and Ifeoma into the elevator, their headlines already drafting themselves mid-descent. In the stunned silence, Chaik turned to Amara. You did it. Amara held Kosi close. We did it. Outside, #Justice at the top trended within the hour. Local media lauded the orphan-turned-whistleblower. Investors, convinced by transparency, committed new capital. Amid the chaos, the pilot program's team offered each other relieved smiles. Victory was messy, but it was theirs. 2 weeks later, the grand opening of the Okonkwo Community Tech Hub was a carnival of color. Under a makeshift marquee strung with fairy lights, neighbors streamed in. Young and old, curious and hopeful. Inside, rows of tablets glowed beside power banks and solar panels. Mama and Kem officiated the ribbon cutting, snipping it with scissors borrowed from the market tailor. Adiz guided a group of children through a basic coding lesson on screen. Drag and drop, she coached.
See?
You just built a hello world. Cheers erupted as the first child typed her name into an empty line of code. Amara stood at the back, heart fluttering as she watched Kosi crawl across brightly painted floor tiles. Local press filmed interviews. "This is more than a pilot," a teacher said. "It's a promise." Chaik, in a crisp shirt now free of its earlier tension, shook hands with volunteers. Tonia's PR firm pitched a damage control narrative, but it was drowned out by genuine smiles and applause. By dusk, the hub buzzed with workshops, verbal reasoning for teens, digital literacy for women, mini-entrepreneur clinics. The slum had transformed into a living studio of innovation. In a private suite on the 28th floor, Ifeoma sat across from Amara, wrists still bruised but eyes clear. "I was blind," she began, voice cracking. "I saw numbers, not faces. I thought sacrifice meant ignoring the weak." Amara studied her. "You nearly destroyed lives, including mine." Ifeoma's lip trembled. "Your parents believed in this place. I stole their legacy. For that I am sorry." She pulled a small box from her handbag, 2 gold cufflinks, mirror images of the one left on bus 47. "I hope this begins to make amends." Tears gathered in Amara's eyes as she took them. "I accept your apology," she said softly. "But the hub is no longer about guilt, it's about growth. Let it be the legacy you truly leave." Ifeoma nodded, a single tear betraying her composure. "Thank you, Amara." They stood, an unlikely bond forming, a matriarch and the orphan who taught her mother to see. The silent war room glowed with screens at midnight. Chaik hovered over a slide deck, red pen in hand, while Amara entered with 2 cups of tea and Kosi yawning in one arm. "You look like you haven't slept since day one." Chaik grinned tiredly. "Underestimate you again?" Amara offered a cup. "Underestimate coffee? Never." She set it down and studied him in the gentle lamplight. "You know," she murmured, "you owe me at least one dinner without agendas." He leaned back, meeting her eyes. "That sounds dangerously like a date." Their laughter dissolved the last of the day's tension. Kosi stirred, reaching for Chaik's sleeve. Chaik caught his hand, kissing the baby's fingers. "He's ours," he whispered. Amara traced the rim of her cup. "I don't do fairy tales." He closed the gap between them. "Neither do I. But I believe in us. Real, messy, stubborn us." Their shoulders brushed in the hush. The world outside could wait. Here, hope had found its moment. A year later, the hub's success had ripple effects across Lagos's underserved communities. On a sunlit stage, Amara stood beside Chaik before a crowd of beneficiaries, investors, and press. She held a plaque, Director of Social Innovation, Okonkwo Innovations. "Today, we celebrate more than technology," she began, voice steady. "We celebrate dreams powered by courage." She paused, glancing at Chaik and then at the audience. "And to all the orphans who think they have no place in this world, know that you own your future." After her speech, Chaik guided her to a small table where a deed was laid out, the original orphanage land, transferred to the Amara Nwosu Foundation. "Your turn," he said softly. Amara signed with a flourish as Kosi, now walking confidently, pressed his tiny hand into hers. Cameras clicked. Hearts swelled. The girl who once balanced a hunger for hope on a bus seat had become its architect. As the sun dipped below the skyline, Amara reflected on the journey. From steel towers to slum lanes, from black cards to golden deeds. Fate had nudged her onto a stranger's shoulder, but her own strength had carried her through. And this was only the beginning of her legacy. The end.